My dear friends, today I'm just going to tell you two stories. One of the ancient developer of chessboard of India, who presented his invention to the then king. The king was very pleased, and then he asked him to give or ask any wish he had. So the inventor told the king, Majesty, Your Majesty, I just want one grain to be placed on the first square, 2 grains on the second square, 4 grains on the third square, 8 grains on the fourth square, like that, doubling in each square. Immediately the king thought about that, and then he felt it was a very small, simple wish of the inventor. So he granted the inventor, and he asked this minister of treasury to do the necessary. And the minister immediately started putting a grain on the first square, 2 on the second, 4 on the third, 8 on the fifth, on the fourth, 16 on the fifth, 32 on the sixth, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2048, and on the 15th square it became 32,738. On the 23rd square it was 1 crore 67. And then naturally the Minister of Treasury was alarmed. He calculated for the entire 64 squares, and he found that the number of grains required for the filling the entire 64 squares was so much that the produce of the land of the king and the domains which he controlled, the entire produce of wheat, won't be sufficient. So he told the king accordingly, and the king called the inventor and accepted defeat. He said, I cannot fulfill your wish, but then you can ask anything else. The shrewd inventor, the story goes, told the king something, and ultimately he became the king. The second story relates to a poor black woman of Mississippi in the United States, Zela McCarthy. This woman had to discontinue her education in the 6th grade just to take care of her aunt. And after some time, when she was, let's say, 16, 15, she started washing clothes and ironing them for the needy. And then she was given money for that. And she started saving $1 a day. And this continued for 56 years. And when she was 56 plus 17, 73 years old, she had $250,000 to her credit. She donated $150,000 to Southern Mississippi University to give grants or to give scholarship for the deserving. This woman became so famous that she got President Clinton's award for the best citizen. How did she accumulate so much wealth? $1 a day. That is $365 in a year. Adding simple interest with that gets accumulated, it becomes around $370 in 1 year towards the end of the year. And that becomes $540 at the end of the first doubling. At that time, it was almost 9% in the United States. So in 8 years, it doubled, or it became $540. Then in the next doubling, 640, the next doubling it became $1,280. And this doubling continued for a number of times until 56 years, when the first year's savings of $365 alone became over 32,000 US dollars. And like that, she saves for 56 years. And it finally becomes $250,000, almost about 2 crores of Indian rupees. So a simple washwoman becomes quite wealthy with a saving of $1 a day and investing it, never withdrawing that amount. When I was, teaching in the TKM College of Engineering, I had a bank, SBT, State Bank of Travancore, nearby. They had a scheme, and the manager asked me, just put 1,000 rupees and you will get it 1 lakh when you are 40 years old. So if I had invested 1 lakh, I would be getting 1 crore after 40 years. I was 65 then. Then 40 years, I was 25 then. And after 40 years, that is 65, I am past 65 already, I would be getting 1 crore rupees. And I had the means to invest. I was teaching, I was earning. But I never did. You might be thinking, foolish. Yes. The power of compounding was not understood by me. See, if your father or if your grandfather invested on your father ₹1, in those days, the interest rate was 14.4%, and the doubling happens in 5 years' time. If he invested just 1 rupee, when you or when the son of the grandfather or your father became 120 years old, that 1 rupee would become 1 crore and 67 lakh. Just 1 rupee. Doubling goes on like that, compounding is like that. But if your father or you invested, if your father invested 1,000 rupees in you, it would have become 1 crore 63 lakh when you are just 56 years old. Suppose nowadays the interest rates are not all that good. So if you invest in your son, let's say, 1 lakh of rupees, by the time he is around 58, it would be over 1 crore and a number of lakhs. If you know the interest rate, and you may ask, the bank interest is below 5%, 6% or something around that rate. But there are so many government bonds, very large public sector units, which give 9% interest or 10%. 9% interest means you get 8 years just to multiply what you invested. So if you invested 1 lakh rupees, multiplication goes on every 8 years or 9 years as per the interest. And this will become, let's say if it is 9% interest multiplying by 8 years, every 8th year, it will be over 1 crore and 32 lakhs or something. If it is, let's say 10% interest, if you are depositing 10% interest, 10%, if you are depositing the amount without withdrawing, it would become over 3 crores. So, the principle of compounding is so clear and so powerful that most of us can be millionaires, if not billionaires, by investing a small amount very early and waiting for a long number of years. There is no other secret to become rich. Invest and wait. But never withdraw, never take back that investment. If you do not invest, but if you borrow either from the bank or from others, you are always in debt. Whatever you earn goes to the EMI or goes to, let's say, serve the debt. The principle of earning, becoming self-reliant, becoming, rich enough to meet all your demands, to go to every foreign country, wherever you want. It is all sufficiently early. Start investing. Let us all understand the principle of compounding. Thank you. Thank you very much.